that still teaches their children that.
Well, this sucks. This sucks. TikTok. Come on, guys. All right, TikTok, you've banned me again for telling the truth, but that's okay. I'm on YouTube going live right now, right after the State of the Union address, which honestly, I wasn't sure whether to. Oh. All right, TikTok, you've banned me. Wait. Discard. Okay, hold on. Discard. All right, TikTok, you banned me again, but the State of the Union's over now, and I'm going live on YouTube where they don't ban you for saying things that are true. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay, that's good. All right, next. Okay, got somebody on here with me. Hello, whoever you are. Let's see, hashtags. Banned again. And then hashtag news. And then hashtag for your page. Okay, post.
Regenerative agriculture farms like Will Harris, on the other hand, are bringing
all right
solutions to the
well, I got to tell you, I don't know whether to. I really don't know what to do about this whole thing with the State of the Union. I am disgusted, really. I'm disgusted that they put that poor girl on there next to Erica Kirk, who is a demon. That's pretty obvious. And I just don't understand what's going on. By the way, silver's up again. We're pushing 90 again, which, that makes sense. I mean, it doesn't, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Let's see, APMEX is probably over 90 as far as what they say spot is. Pump it up a bit. Yeah, they say 90.18 bid and the ask. So going back and forth there. What did you guys think of the State of the Union? I don't know, man. What do you do? I mean, with this Epstein thing going on, how do you believe anything they say? Like anything at all? Like, well, you didn't miss much. Thought it was pretty great. But did you believe any of it, Tweaky? I mean, can you believe any of it? This is going to be the most transparent administration in history, and not a single person has been arrested out of all of the hundreds of people in the Epstein files. I mean, not in this country. In other countries, yeah, hell yeah, people are being arrested. But not here. So how can you believe any of it? It's like, oh, everything's great. Okay. Everything's fine. Okay. And what? Well, apparently not. I mean, people are starting to wonder, like, what happened? What happened to Ghislaine Maxwell? Where is she exactly? Because that woman didn't look much like, a little bit, but not that close. So, it came out today that there was a request from one of the assistant attorney generals back east that said that they wanted to follow up. They were doing an inquiry into the murder of Jeffrey Epstein, and she used the word murder. In the state of New York, an assistant attorney general was asking for a boilerplate agreement, confidentiality agreement, that they could have because they were following up on the murder of Jeffrey Epstein. This was quite a while after the death. And it's like, number one, why is this redacted since it's not supposed to be redacted at all? But this email is redacted. And why are they still referring to it after all this time as the murder? And the only thing that they changed when they announced that Jeffrey Epstein was dead the day before he died, they said that he had died. And the next day, when they released the final draft, after he actually died, they said of suicide. That's the only thing they changed. But the actual draft was written and sent for apparently editing before he died. And the only thing they added was after he died, when they released it, they had added the words of suicide. And yet the people who were looking into it in the state of New York at the highest levels were referring to it as a murder. Well, I hope you're right, Squeaky, because I believe what's going on is that the rich are protecting the rich. And the Epstein class has been running this country for a long, long time. And the cracks didn't begin to show until, just a couple of mistakes were made. But bottom line is this has been going on for a long time, I just watched an entire documentary about Baal and Asherah and Moloch, and the people who worship Moloch and do child sacrifice still to this day. And it's like, okay, come on, guys. Is that true, or is that just another distraction? Is that one of those things that is so insane that when you say it, you automatically disqualify yourself from the argument, and therefore no one takes you seriously? Because if that's the case, it's fucking genius. It's absolutely fucking genius. Because the first time somebody said, oh yeah, they eat babies as child sacrifice and blah, 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 I was like, when Alex Jones, who I thought was really onto something because of 9/11, and in fact, he knew about 9/11 before 9/11, he even said, you're going to have some straw man that you're going to blame for this, massive attack with probably airplanes and probably in New York City. And it's probably going to be Osama bin Laden. And somebody like Osama bin Laden, he said. And I thought, wow, this guy's really got his shit together. And then he started talking about child sacrifice and eating babies and drinking baby blood. And I was like, okay, this fucking dude's lost his mind. He's lost his mind. Or has he? Or is this just another fucking layer of the onion? It's just layer after layer after layer after layer of bullshit. It's like, okay, we don't want you to focus on this, so we're going to create a distraction here. And now that that's over, we're going to distract you from this by doing this. Oh my God. What do we do? What do we do? Because after watching Pam Bondi and watching what she did and watching that sophomoric, childish attempt to defend and distract instead of just fucking answering the questions. Like, look, we've got a bunch of predators here. We got a bunch of people who break the fucking law. Not just parking tickets, not just speeding tickets, not red light running. We're talking about some of the worst things humans can do to other humans. Now, when the lowest tier of that list rhymes with grape, and it only gets worse from there, think about that for a second. If I told you that we knew of, say, 10 crimes, And this one over here, this is the smallest one, is graping. That's the lightest. And it only gets worse from there. It's like worse from there. That's almost as bad as it possibly gets. Some would say that's as bad as it gets. Of course, those people have never been tortured for days or weeks or months or put out of their misery at the end of it. So maybe. Well, Bongino, I think, was part of the corruption. And that's why he has no say anymore. Like, I have no use for him anymore. I used to really like that guy. But you know what? When you sit down in front of somebody, a journalist, and you say, there are no more Epstein files. There are no more people in the Epstein files. No more. That's it. It's just Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein, and there's nobody else. If there was anybody else, I'd tell you. You could trust me. And then 3 million fucking pages with hundreds of people's names. People that are co-conspirators. What? Yeah, co-conspirators. What the fuck? Well, maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he's just an idiot. Dan Shapiro, that's funny. Well, that's the other thing, is that it seems like we're getting ready to go to war in Iran. Why? Iran does not want to go to war with us. The generals that are in place right now, who are highly educated on the readiness of our military, the thing that we're the most proud of. We used to be the most proud of our civil liberties and our freedoms, but we don't have those anymore. So now we're the most proud of our big fucking bombs that we'll freedom you to death with. Even those generals are saying this is not what we want to be doing. We got bogged down in Iraq for 20 years, 18 years, whatever it was. Not quite as long as Afghanistan. Iraq was a clusterfuck with 20 million people in it. Iran is not a clusterfuck, and it's got 90 million people. 90 million. Pretty sure that's bigger than the population of Germany, and it's getting up there with the population of like Mexico. 90 million people is not a tiny country anymore. Iraq was small. Iraq had literally 20 million people, most of whom were probably sick from the first Gulf War when we blew up all their chemical weapons and spread them all over the place. I mean, I know that in the southern part of Iraq, people didn't ask if it was a boy or a girl. Literally, they stopped asking that back in the early 90s. All they ask is it healthy? Because they were so poisoned. No, I'm not live on TikTok because TikTok banned me for bullying. Yes, I was bullying the United States of America and Israel. And apparently you were not allowed to bully them. They literally got me for bullying and harassment. So I don't get to go back on there for 2 more days, which, I mean, what the fuck? What is going on, guys? What the fuck is going on? That's what I want to know. It's just, to me, it's absolutely stunning that we're here. Like, the fuck? I looked at Kamala Harris and I went, oh my God, no. No. DEI is bad. When it's a municipal courthouse and it's just a fucking judge, but she's got to be a black woman because all judges have to be black women now. And so that's bad enough. Because if you walk in that courtroom and you're wealthy and white, you're fucked. On purpose. Go in there if you're poor and black and on drugs. Doesn't matter what you did wrong. You're walking out of there, son. Because everybody feels for you. But I'm the bad guy. I'm the evil son of a bitch. Why? I have no idea. I was raised on John Wayne and Johnny Cash and wanting to be a Marine when I grew up. And, I'm the bad guy now, though. So, but yeah, it's just, to me, the idea of voting for Kamala Harris was terrifying. Like, it was funny, actually. It was such a bad choice that it was actually funny. But was it any better than this? We're about to send more people, more of our sons and daughters to go die for Israel. I mean, is that not obvious enough? The fuck, I got nothing against Iran. I had nothing against Iran. Do I believe in the mullahs? No, I think they're full of shit. That's funny. He's a great leader. You mean Benny T and Benny N? Because if you think that Donald Trump is in charge of anything, you're out of your fucking mind. Benjamin Netanyahu is the president of the United States of America. Period. 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 That's why Epstein is just, smoking a cigar somewhere in fucking Israel, I imagine. Maybe somewhere on the continent of Africa. I don't know where he is. But I can tell you this. When you have two ambulances, one that's a real ambulance and one that's a bait ambulance, that's bullshit. Like, that's just straight up bullshit. Yeah, I got banned. Of course I got banned. I was bullying the United States of America and Israel apparently last night. So I got kicked off for a couple days for bullying and harassment. And they said, fuck you to my appeal too, because apparently I really am a bully. How is this possible, guys? That's what I want to know. How is this possible? How did we get here? This is not my country anymore. This isn't the United States of America that I grew up in. This isn't the country I was promised. They promised me something and they haven't done it. I guarantee you that he's alive. And so is Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine, whatever the fuck her name is. She's got nice boobs, though. What a rack on that gal. Holy shit, I had no idea. And she was kind of pretty when she was young. But, I mean, hey, it's that crazy pretty index. Well, it's not that generation that's gone, Jim. That's what worries me, man. What about our kids? The fuck do they have to look forward to? It's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better because nobody's going to do a goddamn thing about Epstein. And basically what we're saying is that silence is consent. Now, I know if you say that when it comes to having sex with a drunk girl on a date, you're going to go to prison for a long time. And rightfully so. But in the real world of politics, silence is consent. It doesn't matter if you're just preoccupied because United Healthcare said no to your claim and your daughter's going to die of cancer at the age of 9 if you don't spend all of your free time after your second or third job refilling out the paperwork and trying really hard to get it right so that they allow her to have a medicine that's been tested and tried for 50 years that they say is experimental. That's why they denied it. Motherfucker. This is our lives. This is what everybody does in this country. It's like, what about freedom? You have the freedom to struggle. You have the freedom to be broke. You have the freedom to turn on the TV and be told a lie that everybody can afford everything they ever wanted except for you because you're a fucking loser. Everybody has everything. It's the land of milk and goddamn honey, man. And if you don't have everything you ever wanted, well, you're just a fucking dipshit. That's all your problem, not ours. Because look, we got it all. And it's like, man, nobody has shit. There's 18,500 people in the United States of America who control 90% of this country's wealth. What? Yeah, well, 89% A little hyperbole there. Sorry, I lied. That's funny. If I was your grandpa, I'd beat your ass. My guess is your grandpa probably still can't beat your ass because he's got testosterone in his system. You don't because you eat goy slop. Turkey, Merka, Schlurka, Perka, Turka, Lurka, Gurka, Gurka. Okay, well, that's a hell of a last name. Anyway, my point is, yeah, you're goy, just like me. So you can make fun of me if you want, but guess what? You're not human either. Ha 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 ha. Ask any good Orthodox Jew, and they'll tell you, you're just a dumb animal and you need to be used like a donkey. Let's see, you might have been your comments about Hispanics. What did I say about Hispanics? I love Hispanics. Huh. I don't think I said anything untoward about Hispanics. I love Mexicans. I think they're fucking awesome people. Why wouldn't I? Grew up in Los Angeles and Phoenix. I spent half my life surrounded by Mexicans. So I know that they are absolutely 100% no different than the rest of us. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. They're a little shorter than I am and a little darker hair, most of them, unless they're Castilian. Oh, yeah, I know about the Castilian Spanish. You didn't really, but it's TikTok. Yeah, no shit, right? You could immediately make an effect on the world. What would it be? Oh, that's a good one. I would if I could make it my impact. I think what I would want is I would want the ability to read people's minds. Now, I know there's going to be some painful stuff in there. I'm going to, people are going to shake my hand and go, wow, you're a handsome guy. And they're going to think, Jesus Christ, is that a walrus with its hair parted in the middle? I get that. Whatever. We're all crazy. We think crazy shit all day. But it would give me the opportunity to look past all the crazy, the guy sitting at Starbucks thinking to himself, God, man, I wonder what it's like to really fuck a penguin. I don't know. I hope you never find out, buddy. But that's the thing. Okay, he's crazy. But then there are people who are evil. There are people who are just straight up evil. And I would love to be able to pick them out of the crowd. Not even the Jeffrey Epsteins, because maybe he was evil. He did evil things. Now I do know that. But here's my point. Was he himself evil? Or was he a sociopath playing the game because the people that he worked for and relied on really were evil? Big difference. So you have to understand something. Spies lie. That's what they do. It's just what they do for a living. When you lie all day, every day, and I explain this to my daughter because she's got a fantastically high IQ, and she came to me when she was probably 12, and she said, why shouldn't I lie? People say that you can't lie because eventually you get confused and you get all mixed up with your lies, and then you get caught and it's really terrible. But she goes, Dad, my memory is incredible. I'll never get caught. I'll remember all my lies. So why shouldn't I lie? And I said, well, because if you lie long enough, what happens is one day you stop and you go, okay, well, who am I? Really, who am I? What do I stand for? What's my purpose in life? You won't know. Because there'll be so many lies. There'll be the sand that you're standing on is shifting so violently and all the time that you don't really ever get a chance to figure out, who are you? What what do you really want? What do you really stand for? If all you're ever doing is reacting to people by lying to not get caught for things you did for some other stupid reason, you never really get a chance to stop and figure out who the hell you really are. So being alone in the world is not the worst thing. It's like somebody said to me once that not believing in God was must be terrible. They felt sorry for me because they said, if you don't believe in God, I mean, that's got to be the most horrible feeling in the world. And I said, no, it's not at all. It's not even close. They were like, really? Well, what is? And I said, knowing that God doesn't believe in me anymore. That's the worst feeling. And they were like, oh, shit. It's like, you do enough shit in your life, you do enough bad things, and you get to a point where how can God, if there is a God, how could it, he, she, whatever, how could it have any faith in you? You mean nothing. Because if you mean everything to everybody all the time, then that means you really don't mean anything to anybody, ever. So she got that, by the way. and it's amazing because since then she has become rigorously honest. And I've had to teach her how to be, they say the truth hurts. That's not true. Being lazy and truthful hurts. But if you care about somebody, you can really put enough thought into telling them the truth that it doesn't really hurt. But that's not easy. That's actually hard to do. You have to really care. So anyway, I'm not sure Epstein was truly is. He's alive. I'm not sure that he's truly evil, but I guarantee you this. The people that he works for, they're truly evil. And I would really love to get to them. That would be an honor. That would be something that you could feel pretty good about yourself when your head hit the pillow at night if you knew that you were getting rid of those folks. I don't know how many there are. I mean, hell, there could be a few thousand of them in the whole world. And that's all it takes. Because if those few thousand people are the most wealthy, powerful people in the world and they continue to work together, and the Warburgs and the Rothschilds, and let's just say that the Rockefellers, in spite of the fact that they were a bunch of country bumpkin dipshit hillbillies, fucking degenerates, once they became extremely wealthy, then they could have perhaps bought their way into the club. I don't know. And yes, Squeaky, there's that to consider, but the thing is, I don't know what that even means anymore. See, because I'm beginning to wonder, like, I'll give you an example. Let's see. Real name. Wow, they were really Milikowski. Wow. So here's the interesting part. I can say that with absolute certainty that I can't stand Benjamin Netanyahu. And he's a genocidal dictator maniac. And he's also corrupt, and he's a liar and a thief, murderer. The strange part is he and I do have something in common. My mother's maiden last name was Ignatovich, and his is Milikowski. We're both Polish. So my whole family's from Poland. His whole family's from Poland too. So is he Jewish? Well, not really. I mean, he's certainly not a rabbi. He doesn't consider himself to be really super religious. So what makes him Jewish? Well, he says he's Jewish. So if I say I'm Jewish, does that mean I can go to the West Bank and kick some dipshit Christian family out of the house that they've lived in for 30 generations? Going all the way back to before the founding of the United States of America? They've lived in that same house. And I say, no, I'm Jewish. This is my house. And they literally get run out of the village, beaten, had big rocks thrown at their head. Just like, a couple days ago when they cleared out that village for the Jewish settlers. Is that all it takes? I just go there and I say I'm Jewish, right? Because what's Jewish? What does that mean? Well, it's a religion. No, it's a nationality. No, it's a religion. He's Jewish because Huckabee says so. That's a fact. That is a fact. Mike Huckabee, what an evil demon son of a bitch that guy is. I mean, my God, what a demonic human. It blows my mind. It just blows my mind when you see these. I mean, what would you call them? Because they're okay. So I watched an educational film about Baal and Asherah and Moloch. And Baal was a transactional sort of a god who you made offerings to. You just offered him some wheat. Made some prayers to him, said, thank you, please bring some rain. And and then he did. That's how the story goes. But then this guy, I think it was Josiah, said, no. Or maybe it was Elijah, said, no. Yahweh's their only God. I can prove it. Had to do with bursting some shit into flames and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he defeated Baal in a contest. And it was him against 400 of Baal's priests, and he won, hands down, kicked their asses. So they were all seized, and they probably chopped their heads off because that's what they did back then. And that was that. And then the God of the Israelis, the God of the Jews, he won. And then they went into famine, and there was no rain, and they starved, and I don't know. I guess the God of the Jews, the God of Israel, is kind of a dick. So anyway, that failed. But then through a bunch of twists of turns and bullshit, Asherah was brought into this. And Asherah was, she's a deity that's the deity of sexuality and procreation. And, bottom line is, all you got to do really is make some offerings to her, make some bread. While you're making the bread, the kids are supposed to gather up some sticks. The dad makes a fire. You cook the bread. You say thank you to Asherah. It's all pretty easy, really. Not a big deal. At one point, one of the leaders of Israel, kings, decided he was going to put Asherah into the temple alongside the Ark of the Covenants, which is the symbol of the one true God. Now, clearly, if you're not holy and you walk into the holiest of holies, you can expect to get torched just like that. That's why when they go in there, they have to wear the breastplate. That's why they have bells that hang off their robes, because the other priests can hear. If they tie a rope around one foot, so that if you are struck down because you're not pure enough, they can drag you out. The bells are so they can hear the bells going and know that you're still alive, you're still moving in there. It's all very strange, very, very odd. But anyway, the last thing you'd want to do, because God's so sensitive about this that if you're not exactly who you're supposed to be, he'll just fucking waste you. Like a drunk drug lord or something. So they decide to take a symbol, a big statue of Asherah, and put it inside the holiest of holies. Now, you can imagine what's going to happen next, right? Nothing. So for 55 years, this fake statue sits there, this statue of this false god, and the Jews start to believe that Asherah is actually Yahweh's wife. Oh, look, we just completed Yahweh. Yahweh was just, he's by himself. He's kind of a dick, but that's because he wasn't with his wife. But now that Asherah and Yahweh are together, man and wife, everything's good. And, life's pretty good. Well, as you might imagine, that didn't work out. This new king comes along. His grandfather's the one who put the fucking statue in there. His dad ruled for like 2 years and was killed by his own servants because everybody hated him. And this kid, 19 years old, he becomes a king, and he gets brought up to speed on what's really supposed to be going on. They find some old scrolls and they read it to him, and oh my God, he's bawling his eyes out. He's in tears. He's tearing at his clothes. He can't believe that they've strayed so far from the real one true God, because God is the God of the Jews. Jews are God's chosen people. So he says, get Asherah's statue out of there. We are going to honor the one true God, Yahweh. The holiest of holies is going to be holy again. We're going to do everything exactly the way that God commanded us. Needless to say, he was wasted on his first military campaign because apparently God didn't like him that much, or changed his mind for the 100th time or whatever. Anyway, he took an arrow and died. So that was over. And then they started worshiping Moloch. Now, Moloch is the guy that I believe they still worship to this day. Moloch was very transactional. You make a sacrifice to me, and I'll make sure that you get to the top. Like right away. Like, I'll give you anything you want. All I want is for you to sacrifice babies, because sacrifice is what's important. And sacrificing a handful of corn, fuck you, wheat, whatever, go bite my ass. What I want is I want you to sacrifice something important. Babies. Your babies. If you're willing to sacrifice your own kids, well, that tells me that, you're on my team 100%, because clearly your kids aren't. So that's what I want. So that's what the Israelites did. They started sacrificing to Moloch. Well, apparently that didn't work either. But I think to this day, there are a group of them that still do this. And I'm not sure if you would call them Jews or, Canaanites or Amalekites, or who gives a fuck. Bottom line is this. All of that shit, that retarded, old bullshit, let's take that and let's wrap it all up and stuff it right down the throats of the people who believe it. Fuck them. You want that? Great. That's not what my country's about. It's a new country. We got this whole new gig going on, and people get to vote and all this other shit. Now, I get it. They've come over here. They've spread money around. They threaten people with lawsuits. They do what they always do. They negotiate. And they facilitate, and they're disgusting. But these people have done this here. And I say, Doesn't matter where you're from. I don't care where you're from. If this is your culture and you're from Botswana, go back to Botswana. If this is your attitude and you're from Israel, well, you have your own country. Go fuck it up. Stop fucking mine up. And by the way, if you're so badass, you and your IDF and your Mossad are so fucking badass, so terrifying and so organized and so bloodthirsty, you go attack Iran. Okay? You go be the mouse that roared. Because I know that there's about 18 million Jews on the planet. And you guys have started wars everywhere all the time. So go fight them yourself. Because the thing is, I get it. I get it. It says in the Talmud that I am supposed to be your slave because I'm not human. Okay, but no, I don't want to be. I don't want to be your slave. So now what do we do? That's my question. Where do we go from here? Because Iran, I don't give a fuck about Iran. It's not that I love Iran. Not that I hate Iran. I've never actually been to Iran. What do I know about Iranians? Well, let's see. I've had a couple as business partners, and they were just normal guys. You know, they weren't very religious. They were, you know, pretty secular dudes. It wasn't like we prayed 4 times a day or anything, and 5 or whatever. Fuck that, it's all about. Let's see. I have known a couple of Iranian girls in the biblical sense, and they don't seem any different than the girls from any other part of the world. I mean, you know, it's pretty much the same. They are very pretty. Some of them very pretty. So yeah, I don't know. Well, the nuke threat is real, but it's not from Iran. What you have to understand is that what the Iranians want is what North Korea has. And when I say that, I don't mean a nuclear weapon, although they do want that. But they want it for the same reason that North Korea wanted it. And you know what that is, of course, right? See, here's the problem. You know, I'm going to raise up my desk. I got one of those cool desks that raises up. There we go. Yeah. So, there we go. When North Korea got the nuclear bomb, they became part of a club that has a certain rule. And that certain rule is don't fuck with me. Because I'll blow up. And I don't mean blow up like bang, stick of dynamite blow up or an M80 firecracker. I mean, I got nukes. Don't fuck with me. It's a club. And that's a tiny club, and you ain't in it. So, on the one hand, you've got North Korea. North Korea came up with a nuclear weapon and surprised everybody. Wow. That was fast. How'd you get that? Pakistan, thank you very much. Pakistan, you sons of bitches, you worthless turds who are not really our allies at all. But okay, whatever. Now North Korea's got a nuke. They're in the club. Great. Well, what does that mean? That means that we have to pay attention to them. We can't just shit on them. We literally can't just shit on them eternally because they have a nuke now. So when they rattle their saber, we go, okay, look, guys, don't make us fucking blow the world up. We'll blow the fucking world up if you don't stop. And they go, yeah, you try to blow up the world. We got nukes. We go, yeah, well, we got nukes too. And then in that little pause between insults, we turn to our envoy and we go, look, go over there and find out what the fuck they want. Why are they doing this? Like, there's a reason they're saber rattling. What is it? We go over there and the leader of the country says, well, we're in a drought, as you know, and we're suffering from a little bit of a shortage of wheat. So, you know, to get us through the winter, it would be nice if we could maybe buy a few hundred tons from you. And he said, buy? What do you mean by buy? Well, buy. We'll pay for it. Okay. Silver, gold? Yeah, sure, whatever. Oil? Yeah. All right, we'll figure something out. Okay, done deal. Now, if you didn't have nukes, but you were a tiny country like that, let's say Venezuela, and you said, hey, man, we are really hurting. God, you know, our economy sucks. What should we do? The United States shows up and goes, hey, man, we're going to help you out. And you go, well, no, that's okay, because we know what that means. When you say help us out, that means you're going to take over our country. And that's not good. And we go, no, it's not your choice. We're taking over your country. Go fuck yourself. Same thing we're about to do to Cuba. Because Cuba doesn't have a nuclear weapon. If they actually had a nuclear weapon, we couldn't just starve them to death. They could threaten us, and then we would have to actually negotiate. But because of the fact that this is literally like a 140-pound Rottweiler fighting a fucking French poodle, a teacup poodle, there's absolutely nothing they can do. Now, why do we want so desperately to destroy Cuba? Because of Fidel Castro. Wait, he's dead. Okay, because of his brother Raul Castro. Oh, fuck, he's dead too. Well, because it's a communist regime. Okay, but it's not. Wait, what? No, I found out by talking to some Cubans that the government of Cuba has actually encouraged people to start small businesses, and that they're trying to revive Cuba by becoming more capitalist. What? Well, wait, then why are we fucking with them then? Because we can. Because that's who we are now. That's who the United States of America is. We're that big, fat ass bully. The one that hasn't really gotten its ass kicked badly enough yet that it realizes being a bully is not the right way to go. So we're going to continue to do what we've been doing for 243 years. Because the United States of America is 250 years old this year, but we've been at war for 243 of them. We've had 70 years as a country where we have not been at war with someone somewhere. I don't get that. I just don't understand that. Now, who is that for? Who is that for? Not for me. Being at war doesn't help me. Being at war does not help my son. He's 13. 5 years from now, we'll be at war. Pretty much guaranteed. We'll be at war with somebody. I mean, shit, we just got done being at war in Iraq and Afghanistan. And luckily, we decided to have a war in Ukraine where we don't put any boots on the ground, but we're at war. No question. And then we decided to have another war in Iran. Huh. Well, that's pretty weird. When do we stop having wars? Because I thought this was the anti-war president. I thought this was the guy who was going to be a little bit more Christian. Because Christians don't kill people over money. We don't kill people because of political differences. We turn the other cheek. We dust off our sandals. We do what we need to do, but we love our neighbor. We don't kill them because they speak a different language or because they didn't agree to let the CEO of some corporation here run their country. We don't do that as Christians. But if you ask Mike Huckabee, it's okay for Israel to literally go in and kill millions and millions of people in the Middle East in order to take over that land and make it the greater Israel. And he said that. He said it. Now, I wonder if I were Turkey or Iran or Saudi Arabia or Jordan or Lebanon or Egypt or Syria, how would I feel about that? That the representative of the United States government just said it's okay for Israel to come into my country and kill me so that they can take my land away from me because God gave it to them. It almost sounds like a jihad. That's what it sounds like to me. A holy conflict. I got to tell you, man, I'm fucking sick of it. I am fucking sick of it. If there's a reason to go to war, if there's a reason to fight somebody, let's go. Let's go. But if we're doing this because Benjamin Netanyahu and a bunch of fucking lunatics say we need to go and attack that country for their benefit, who the fuck are they? Look, Israel, I don't hate you. I don't hate Jews, but I don't like you either. You think that my God is a false God. You think my Savior is a piece of shit. You actually say he's burning in a lake of excrement. Why would I be your friend? You're not my friend. You've never done anything for me, but you expect me to do everything for you. That's just fucking stupid. Now, I don't know about you, but I remember when I went to AA, they had this thing called Al-Anon. And Al-Anon was this place where people that were the spouses of abusive alcoholics went so that they could learn to set limits, to say no, to stand their ground, and if necessary, to walk away. I say that along with the United States Marine Corps, Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, we have a United States of America Al-Anon group. And we learn to just walk away. When it's toxic, baby. Let's just walk away. Doesn't mean I hate them. Doesn't mean I like them. I don't care. That's what I'm saying. I don't care. Just go away. But look, one parting word of advice before we separate countries and you stop sucking the blood out of my Congress and Senate. Maybe stop being assholes to everybody. Stop thinking that you're better than everyone else. Stop parading around like a bunch of fucking lunatics. Stop burning down people's countries so that you can buy up their land cheap. Stop telling everybody that they're less than you. Maybe assimilate a little bit. Have a slice of bacon and shut the fuck up. That's all I'm saying. Right? That's not anti-Semitic. Not at all. I'm trying to help you folks. As a matter of fact, you know what? I think I'm going to make a few videos about how Israel can adapt for the 21st century. Because you guys are in the 45th century, right? 45th century? 44th century. But you know what? You're acting like babies. You're acting like you're still 3 centuries old. Grow up. You're supposed to be twice as old as us. But you're not. You're showing your age. So let's all do this. Let's make a pact, all of us that are on here tonight, to try to help Israel. Okay? You know that kid in class that nobody likes? And you try to befriend him. And then you find out he's a dick. And he's a spoiled little shithead whose parents gave him everything he wanted and told him that he was better than everybody in his class. And that's why he acts like an asshole. Yeah, I don't know that that's a great storyline there because that's actually what's going on. And I don't know what to do about that other than ignore the little son of a bitch. So that's what I'm saying. Let's ignore the little son of a bitch, shall we? And by the way, when I say ignore, I'm talking to you, Congress. Look, I get it. You're a bunch of whores. You want money. You want fame. You want teenage girls. Yeah, go do that on your own time. Okay, go be amateur pedophiles. If that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. So, but don't do it on my tax dollar. Just go. As a matter of fact, you probably move to Israel. Just tell them you're Jewish. I mean, hell, if a guy named Melikowski can run the country and his parents are from fucking Poland, pretty sure half of the guys who ran the country and women who ran the country so far since 48 have been from the Ukraine. What? Ukrainians? It's a crazy world, isn't it, folks? So buy some silver before the dollar collapses, because that's coming too. I've been watching that, and that is right around the corner. And by the way, is it hilarious that I didn't get kicked off of here yet, but I would have gotten kicked off of there a long time ago. So anyway, you guys have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.